Hi. I just realized I didn't do the actual WrestleTalk one that I'm supposed to be using. You know, this one. That one.
I thought you were going to do the whole thing. I'm going to again.
Support bumper on it. You know the one.
Yes.
Also, Andy was dancing the entire time that music was playing, and I was really, really tempted to just stop it and just have you like mid going crazy dabbing stuff. I thought it would be great.
Song.
Yes.
Just like Edge's theme tune.
Just like Edge's theme tune. Anyway, hello! Welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast review of SmackDown. Hi, how's it going? I am Corporate Chopper. I'm joined by Andy Datson. And first things first, if you want to get in your Ultra Chats, you can do at the link right there, WrestleTalk.com/support. Get in your Ultra Chats because we'll be going through every single one of them before the end of the show. But first things first, also, it's a good question. What are you doing in the office, Datson? You blowing people up? Did you attack Mr. Davis at the Fastlane predictions? Okay.
Hey man, I wasn't even there. I had a week off, as you know.
Yeah, exactly. So... You had a week off. What, to prepare explosives?
No, I can't get that sort of stuff. I'm under house arrest.
Okay. Anyway, let's talk about SmackDown. Where the first thing we're going to be talking about is Edge and this whole story that they've got going with Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, because it's going to be Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns at Fastlane tomorrow. Going to be doing Fastlane live reactions, by the way, and I'm going to be replacing Mr. Davis now that he's not medically cleared to do the live reactions tomorrow. I'm going to be taking his place. I will be challenging for the championship on behalf of the Ollie Authority. So yeah,
don't worry, Chopper. You the bomb.
Thanks,
You'll
man.
Be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure I will be. But we also got the match on this SmackDown, which was the main event, which was Edge versus Jey Uso, with the winner being the Special Ringside Enforcer for the match. So what it means is they'll be at ringside. Is what it's determining.
Yeah. Have they actually really explained what his role involves?
He's going to be there to make sure there's no shenanigans, which to me is what a referee does.
Yeah, it sounds to me like, and I know we're going to get into this whole heel turn thing possibility. Mm-hmm. It sounds to me like he's going to basically just be a constant distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more for Roman than for Bryan, because Bryan is the babyface in this situation, and heels are much more easily distracted than faces are. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But it's a very strange role, and I feel like we're just going to get a tweet saying, "Oh, here we go. By the way, we forgot to mention this is what he actually is doing."
I reckon it won't even be that. I reckon he'll be doing his entrance tomorrow, and the commentary will be like, "And Edge, our special guest enforcer, he is here to do this, this, and this." Maybe they might not even do that. Who knows? But anyway,
will there be some kind of weird thing where he's the ref on the outside of the ring?
No,
like there's the ref in the middle, but then the ref gets distracted, and then he's like, "Oi, ref, Roman's being mean."
No. I think it's going to be he'll be there. Which he was going to be anyway, but
it'll just be going around the edge of the ring.
Let's talk about the thing. So we had a backstage promo from Edge with Caleb Braxton initially on this show of him just saying, "I'm good. I'm going to beat Jey Uso, and I'm going to be an enforcer." It was fine. It was a fine promo. Throughout the night, we got these nice little video recaps of kind of like the highlights of Edge on SmackDown. His whole SmackDown history. To answer your question, by the way, Cameron Christie, no, he isn't the ref. He's not a special guest referee. He's special guest ringside enforcer is what they called him. So we'll figure out what that means. But they had 3 clips throughout the night. First one was Edge and Hogan winning the tag titles on SmackDown 19 years ago. Goodness me, that's a long time. But yes, he won that. There was also him cashing in his Money in the Bank on The Undertaker on SmackDown. Also a good, nice feel-good highlight. And also him relinquishing the World Heavyweight Championship because he retired from injury. Less good, I'd say,
Yes.
on the scale. But also I like the fact that they included all of the promo lines from Raw when he actually announced his retirement and just said, it was on the SmackDown. Like, it wasn't, but nice try. But yeah, so they just showed like some highlights of Edge and said, for the first time in 10 years, Edge is going to be wrestling on SmackDown. He built it up as a big deal. It was quite nice, honestly. I was like, this is a cool moment. 10 years of Edge not wrestling on SmackDown. It's nice.
It is nice. Yeah, but because of all of that, I really do think now that this is going to be a triple threat. Like that's my opinion. And I think Edge is either going to turn heel or he's going to do something on Sunday which costs Daniel Bryan the match. And I think that there's quite an easy story that they can tell, because obviously, and I'm surprised I know they've mentioned it and stuff, but I'm surprised they haven't brought more into the whole. They're both people who had to retire and came back. And I think the easy story you can tell there is Edge going, look, Daniel, you came back 3 years ago now. You've had another run with the belt. You've had your return. You've had everything that came with it. I haven't had that yet. And here you are trying to basically shoehorn your way into this match, which is my moment that I've been waiting for 10 years now. Like, how dare you do that? Like, we get it. You're Daniel Bryan, and then you're the ultimate kind of babyface, and you're getting towards the end of your career. But this is my comeback story, and you're ruining it.
Yeah,
I think that's that's a really effective way of telling this story. And I think you can do that with Edge, not like attacking Bryan, but Edge doing something which costs Bryan the match. Just, I don't know, hooking a foot or distracting the referee, or even, if he wants to attack him, then I don't see any reason why he can't just like hit a spear when it looks like Bryan's got it won. That's a ref bump or something like that. I mean, does the ringside enforcer have like the pin capabilities?
I assume he would still like get disqualified if he attacked someone, and he wouldn't be able to, make a pinfall.
But he's a part of the match. It's like if the ref punches someone, that's not a DQ.
So as the one that decides to DQ.
Yeah, I think they've done a really bad way, poor way of explaining what a ringside enforcer is. I mean, I know that Johnny Sins is a ringside enforcer, but I don't know about what Edge is going to be doing at all on Sunday, because they haven't said it. And this is one of the WWE's problems. It's just when they had Mick Foley in the Hell in a Cell match, they were like, here's Mick Foley.
Yep.
And I went, okay, why?
Yeah.
And then he just fell over and then was out of the match for most of it.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to point out, by the way, that if it does become a triple threat, John Miller said so. Louis was correct then. No,
because this is changed afterwards. These are new plans.
God, he is gonna be so smug, and he's still wrong.
Because shooting here, Louis thought it was going to be Finn Balor versus Edge, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Louis is wrong. Louis was under the impression that it was going to be Edge versus Finn Balor, not like a triple threat. Louis was just wrong.
Yeah, he's just, he didn't think Edge was going to choose Reigns, and he did. He's always wrong. Anyway, but yes, it's a really interesting possibility. I really don't know what Edge is going to do. If anything, the thing is, it might just be that they're still just going to do Edge versus Reigns at Mania, and they want a way to keep Edge sort of involved. So they've done this whole story. They've done a title match with Reigns that isn't with Edge, and Edge is going to be there, go completely, fair down the middle. Maybe he'll attack Jey Uso to make sure that he doesn't attack Bryan or something. And then Bryan will lose, and Edge will go, sucks. Anyway, here's my Mania title match. And Bryan just goes, darn it, I lost. And that's it. And it's not going to be anything. But anyway, we'll talk about more later, because we actually have a few more segments to talk about first from SmackDown. So there was actually included in this whole Edge story, of course, is Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan came out during the show as well. Didn't open the show, which was nice. Didn't have a Roman opener. Was good. he came out and just cut a promo, more of the same, just him saying, "I'm gonna beat Reigns. I'm gonna tap him out." Was the idea. Roman then came out, and I thought had a really, really good promo here because it put over a possibility, and I was like, "Oh, that's really interesting." Because Roman put over the fact, and he was like, "There's no way that you're going to tap me out. No one has ever made me tap out in my career." And he said a couple of really good lines that I thought was in here was him saying, "I'd rather lose an arm than tap out to any man. I'd rather die in the ring than tap out to Daniel Bryan." And I was like, I believe you. Oh my God. Said it so convincingly. And I thought his like facial expression selling in this segment was absolutely brilliant. And it kind of put that little thing in me. Bryan's not going to win. I'm 97% sure that Bryan is not winning this match, but it put that little bit in me to just go, but what if he did though? And it just put in that little seed of doubt in my mind.
Yeah. So his promo made me think that what might happen is a visual tap.
Oh, that's good.
But the ref is maybe the ref's distracted by Edge. Maybe Edge does something. Maybe that's when Edge gets involved. But we see Roman tapping, or just as you can see that he's about to start tapping. I don't know. I'm trying to think that maybe it's convoluted, but maybe they get him to tap twice, and then Edge grabs his arm, and then I don't know, something like that. I think that could be effective, because that if you want Daniel Bryan in the match Mania, then that's such an easy way of doing it. He comes out next week and goes, "You can't really see my finger. Look at that. Look at the screen. That is you tapping to me.
Yeah.
I should be in this match." And then you've got Adam Pearson coming out going, "All right, Adam Pearson." Yes. Hey, it's
our
been a
best
week.
friend, Adam Pearson. He'll just come out on SmackDown. Yeah. I thought, it was a really good promo. And I thought that, Reigns, Bryan responded saying that he's going to break Reigns and he's going to make him tap. And again, Reigns' face here, I thought was so good. He acted this really well because he was like, "No, you're not." Right? But just through facial expressions, he's like, "I'm really confident." Sort of.
Yeah.
But just through his facial expression, which I thought was really, really well done. And him being trying to put on a facade, but showing those seeds of doubt in his own mind. It was really, really well done.
And it puts there's one of the things I don't like in wrestling is when the challenger just completely dismisses. So the champion just completely dismisses his challenger and goes, "Oh no, you suck, 100%. You're rubbish," and stuff like that. And that works in some stories.
John Cena.
That works in some stories, but this one he just makes us think, but maybe just with his face. And I don't think a lot of people can do that. And like I've said before, but either way, this match and the kind of surrounding story, the three people in the match are such good storytellers, and they're such kind of, well, especially Bryan and Edge have been around for more like 20 plus years, and Roman's, Roman, we can count Roman as a veteran now that he's 8-9 years now. So I'm really looking forward to this match. And either way, even if it's just a clean loss for Bryan, because I don't think they're going to do a clean loss for Roman, I think I'm still going to enjoy it. I just wish they'd given a bit more context. I know a lot of people are saying the X used to be enforcers, but then we kind of knew what that's the X's kind of consistent role. But this is just he's an enforcer, and we haven't been. That was 20 years ago, so we need a bit of explanation as to exactly what that involves. But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But this all led up to the main event, which was Edge versus Jey Uso, winner being the Special Enforcer. And I thought this was a really well-told match. It wasn't super flashy with loads of high spots or anything, but just really solid psychological storytelling, because every single move that Jey Uso did was targeting Edge's ribs. Every single time, and he was changing up his moves so that normally when he'd do an enziguri and he'd kick the side of his head, instead he kicked his ribs on the same enziguri but kicked the ribs instead, threw him across the ring into the ring post, targeting the ribs, grabbed his arm and his leg around the ring post, targeting his ribs every single time. It was such a well-told story. And Edge targeting Jay's shoulder as well. That came into play towards the end of the match as well. Edge's selling of him not being able to whip Jay across the ring, doing an Irish whip because his ribs hurt too much. It was like all of it just kind of added up, layer on layer on layer, to make this really well-told story. And it came in where Jay almost had it won. He hit a super kick and a splash as well, and went to go for the pin, but Edge had just rolled onto his side, and Jay couldn't roll him up fast enough because of his injured shoulder. He couldn't roll Edge quick enough, which gave Edge enough time to recover to then kick out a 2, which was just really perfect. Edge managed to come back, hit a spear from out of nowhere, and like fall on Jey Uso, and just managed to like pin him quickly, which was the reason that Jay didn't kick out a 2 the same way Edge did. It was just like a nice parallel. Edge gets the win. It was really good match.
Yeah. And I really like the way that they're kind of Edge is wrestling as well, because it's not necessarily that he's better than everyone else, but he's sort of smarter, and he's got this kind of Logan Edge, as people call him, where like actually if he just lain there, that probably would have been the end of the match. But he realized that maybe if he just rolled over, then that could delay Jay getting a pin and he'd be able to kick out. So, and it's just little things like that have, well, just weren't in Edge, or sort of prime Edge. But now that we've got the returning kind of wily old veteran, I think this is going to be his matches are going to be a lot like this. It's not going to be super flashy, like you said. It's going to be just kind of really well told, and I like that in wrestling. So, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. But there was basically no time to celebrate for Edge, because then Roman Reigns came out and immediately hit Edge with a spear, causing him to be in a lot of pain. Daniel Bryan was on commentary, of course, and got up and he was like, "Oh, you want to go now? You want to go now?" to Reigns, and was like, "Okay." Started walking towards the ring, but Jey Uso attacked him from behind, and then he, in what I thought was really smooth, kind of bashed him across the back of the head, threw him into the ring. Bryan immediately turns around into a spear from Reigns, like no time to even take in his bearings, gets speared by Reigns. Reigns stands tall to end the show. Thought it was good. Reigns stood tall. If we're going by WWE logic here, which is something they often do, Reigns standing tall here means he's losing at Fastlane. That's what always happens. The person that stands tall on the go-home show is the loser of the match on Sunday. I don't think that's the case here.
I think this is more to put a seed of doubt into our mind as to whether Edge will attack Bryan or if Edge will attack Roman, because it's like now that he obviously got stuff against Roman, but it's fresh now in his mind. The wounds haven't healed. Really, really interested to see how they play this match. I mean, I sort of assumed that Edge was going to win this match today. Last night. But what they do tomorrow, I don't know. I predicted Roman to win, but I don't think it's going to be as simple as that.
Yeah. And something we haven't really properly discussed the heel turn possibility, just because he could just straight up cost Bryan. Become full heel, it becomes a triple threat at Mania. So Daniel Bryan's the only babyface going into it. Shades of WrestleMania 30. I'm not overly keen on that idea, personally. I don't think the dynamic would work between Edge and Roman if Edge was playing the heel. I think Roman needs to be the heel in any feud that he's in. Having said that, not against Roman, Edge turning heel is probably a good thing. Edge is a really good heel. He's one of the best, most consistent heels that WWE has ever had.
Yeah.
So I think him being a heel in general is probably a good idea, not in this feud. Maybe if he lost against Roman at Mania and turned heel after that because he's so frustrated that he couldn't cement his legacy and win the title that he never lost and blah, 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 blah. I think that's a really good story, and I think that would yield some really good results, just not yet.
Yeah, and the thing was, with his return, he was never going to be a heel.
No,
he's going to be a babyface, but like you said, he can lose at Mania. He can get frustrated. Maybe he can cheat to win at SummerSlam or something like that. And then you've got like the ultimate opportunist. He's back for one final run. And then, I don't know. I mean, how old is he now? 46-ish?
Old.
Yeah. That's not old. That's middle-aged.
46 for a wrestler?
For a wrestler.
That's old.
Hey, Undertaker will be probably coming out of retirement another 8 times.
He's ancient.
He is. Yeah. He's also a dead man. Yeah, I think then you can tell a final story of him then going back to a face after like 2 years and then having a retirement, like a proper retirement match. The match he always should have had against, I don't know, let's say Slapjack. It'll be Baron Corbin.
Yes. Interesting point here from Homestar saying, I just don't know if people would boo Edge after his big return. I think they would. Given the right story. Edge, one, is a really good heel. People booed the hell out of Daniel Bryan when he came back and turned heel. God, you just got to tell the right story.
All Daniel Bryan had to do was go, I'm a vegan. Everyone was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I'm changing the WWE Championship. Everyone went, no, you can't do that.
Yes.
And it was obviously he had great opponents in AJ Styles and being against Kofi on, the biggest babyface Kofi running the world obviously helped. But just in general, they're both very good heels, so I think they can make it work. Anyway, let's see what you guys thought. Let's get into some of your Ultra Chats here. Raging Rhino 10101 said, is there a realistic chance that Daniel wins? Whilst Roman's character probably still needs the belt long term, I could see them taking it off him for the next 3 weeks, forcing himself back into the Mania match, and then winning it back in the triple threat.
No.
No.
You're not going to have Roman. You can't have Roman being the guy chasing the belt at this stage.
Yeah.
Either Daniel Bryan has the match won and then there's some kind of screwy finish, or he comes really close and Roman wins. And then then Bryan forces his way in somehow. Or he just loses and goes, hey, fair play. You beat me. You were the better man on the day. I'll let you have your match with Edge. Enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm gonna make sure that Edge beats you or whatever. Sure. But yeah, I think a short title loss and Roman getting it back story could work. I don't think this Roman character is definitely not suited to a long chase of the belt. However, him losing it and being like, I want it back, and then he gets it back is a solid story. If he loses it in weird, shenanigan-y fashion, and it's just like, well, my entire status as the head of the table is kind of ruined without that belt. Guess I should get it back, and then gets it back is solid enough, I think. There's potential there. We got some other stuff. We'll do some of the general SmackDown chats for now. Charles Berg said, the billing of Zayn versus Corbin as the least anticipated match in SmackDown history deserves praise. Chopper, it seems strange that you weren't hurt by that very real explosion. Ollie wasn't killed because of his massive peen's protection. What kept you safe? I wasn't right next to him. That footage was a little bit kind of misleading. I wasn't actually that close to him. And the explosion itself, it managed to just kind of injure him slightly. He's still not medically cleared for Fastlane live reactions tomorrow. But I got very lucky. Was essentially what it is. I was just out of the explosion radius as it was. So very lucky. Very, very lucky.
Yeah.
Also, yes, the billing of Zayn versus Corbin we'll get onto when we talk about the rest of SmackDown, but that absolutely came out of nowhere, and I really enjoyed it. Kamal Arif says, darkest timeline prediction, Reginald wins this year's Women's Money in the Bank for either Nia Jax or Sasha Banks. That really is the darkest timeline.
Yeah, if it was WrestleMania, if there was a WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale, I could see him winning that.
Yep.
But they are not doing that again. They're not making the same mistake. Carmella won't be someone who's won it twice, but with the help of a man.
They wouldn't make the same mistake again? Are you sure?
I don't think they would make the same mistake again.
How many times have they had a Women's Royal Rumble match without men in it?
Hey, you gotta include that 24/7 championship.
No, you don't. You don't need to at all.
I know. I'm just thinking in the mind of the producers.
Terrible. Matthew Robinson says, what do you guys think of the Sami kick to Owens? This could be a good feud in reverse of their NXT feud. Loved it. We'll talk about it in more detail in a little bit. But yes, thoroughly excited for the possibilities of that. We'll leave your Ultra Chats there for now, I think, and we'll get into the review of the rest of the show. But we will be going through all of them before we get out of here today. So WrestleTalk.com/support if you want to get in the rest of your Ultra Chats. We'll get through all of them before we get out of here today. So let's talk about the rest of the show. Which opened with, not with Roman Reigns, not with Daniel Bryan, not with Edge. No. We got the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Sasha Banks and Nia Jax that was made super duper last minute on last week's show, which was really dumb because Reginald said to Nia Jax, "You should challenge for the SmackDown Women's Championship." And then Nia Jax went, "That's a good idea." And then about 10 seconds later, they just announced it and just said, "Hey, there you go. There's the SmackDown Women's Championship match that's happening next week." It was really dumb, but it was the opener on the show. I know, yeah. But it was the opener on the show. They had a little, they had the recap of the feud so far, and then it was a little promo between Sasha and Bianca in gorilla position. Bianca saying, "Why did you accept this match?" I was like, she didn't. She literally didn't have time to accept it last week. Sure, yeah, whatever.
I mean, why was this for the title? Like, at what point?
Because Reginald said, "Nia, you should challenge for it." And then she went, "Yeah, all right." And then
that's not how wrestling works.
She also pinned Sasha at Elimination Chamber. So there's an argument there for something. It's still dumb, but whatever. But yes, Sasha says, "It's not about you or the title or whatever. It's about Reginald for some reason." And then Bianca's like, "Oh, so it's all about Reginald still, even though I told you to get rid of him." Which means he's totally getting involved on Sunday. Obviously, we knew that was going to happen. But then we had the match. Reginald wasn't there.
He wasn't. Yeah, I think they're going to write him off TV on Sunday. I think...
I'm just really happy.
Yeah.
He wasn't there.
I think he's going to cost Nia, and then they're going to emasculate him, and then he'll be off TV for the rest of... That'll be his swan song. I can't... This is what I'm hoping. This is what I'm writing in my head.
And what are you talking about? They're going to have a main event WrestleMania. What are you on about, mate?
Yeah, and these matches and the matches we got on the show were... It was just like at the end of it, and I was skipping ahead, but we'll talk about the matches, obviously. But but once we'd finished the match, I went, okay, it's the same match tomorrow. Like I don't feel more or less excited, because first of all, why are they having a match tomorrow? And
we'll get into it.
And we are now 3 weeks from WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
This should
4,
be
I think. 1, 2. It's on the... Yep, 3 weeks from today.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
This should be a singles feud between Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Why do we need Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler?
We don't.
Because now we got Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler involved in the other singles feud. That should be a singles feud on Raw.
Yep.
What are they doing? And then we've got NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. And so there's like, oh God, we've got nothing for them to do. I know, let's just get them involved in everything.
Yeah. So Reginald is having a spa day, which is why he's not on SmackDown. Great. Cool. Love that. Don't have him on the show. That's great. At least he's not on the show. That's fine. Sasha started off the match hot against Nia, came up with a nice little flurry of offense, which I thought was really good. Nia took control again for the majority of the match. Bianca Belair came out after Sasha got beaten up a little bit, and I was like, oh, what's Bianca doing? Is she going to come and cost Sasha? She's going to attack Shayna? What's going to happen here? And they went, we'll find out next. And they went to an ad break, and I went, what? Why though? Why did that happen? It's genuinely... I know people are going to call me nitpicky or whatever. This genuinely one of my biggest pet peeves is when something big happens, like, oh my God, someone's here. Or, oh, there's this massive move. How are they going to deal with it? Ad break. It's the biggest robber of momentum.
we got one on NXT last week. It was, oh my God, something has happened with Adam Cole. And he literally, Kyle O'Reilly tried to run him over. We'll find out what happens. Break. And then it goes into a match. Like a really, like a completely pointless match. I go, what?
Yeah.
You were just going, oh my God, something's happened to Adam Cole. And we go, right, what we'll do is have a break and then we'll do this. And then and they played the tape of Adam Cole. And it was clearly pre-recorded because it was all bleeped out. And I was like, what? None of this makes any sense. Anyway,
it's genuinely one of my biggest pet peeves when that happened. So Bianca came out for no reason, and then kind of went down to Sasha Banks, ad break, came back, and Bianca was just at ringside. It's like, well, why weren't you there in the first place? There was no like stimulus. There was nothing. There was no reason for Bianca to come out. She just came out because it was time for an ad break. That's what annoys me. But yes, eventually it breaks down towards the finish where Shayna Baszler gets in the ring after some back and forth with Bianca on the outside. Shayna gets in the ring and supposedly was aiming a kick at Sasha Banks, missed, and hit Nia Jax, which on the surface, as a plot device, fine, cool. That's the story you want to tell, that's fine. It was a bit weird because the ref was sort of distracted, but also was still right there. And also the kick was either horribly mistimed or Shayna was intentionally hitting Nia. And I don't know what one they're trying to tell here because they didn't really clear it up.
Corey teased it on commentary. I was like, that looked almost natural. And it was so badly timed that I think it has to have been intentional.
You'd think so, right? But
then we got because we got the story later with Nia running away, like not wanting to be with Shayna. So she's obviously pissed at that.
Which would make sense for either story though. So that's not a deciding factor either way.
Yeah. I don't know whether they've just got bored of Nia and Shayna with the belts and have gone, right, okay, let's just break them up quickly. Yeah. Nia will accidentally hurt Shayna tomorrow night, and that'll cause the belts to change hands, and then we can have 4 weeks of how will they possibly coexist. So yeah.
Was weird, but Sasha got the roll up win, basically. After Nia got kicked by Shayna. Cool. They had a backstage segment afterwards where Nia was annoyed at Shayna, understandably. Shayna said, I'm sorry. And Nia said, I don't want to hear sorry. I want to hear what you're going to be doing about it. So Shayna said, well, I'll get a match with Bianca Belair and I'll kick her head off. Okay, fine. We'll talk about that now as well. Why not? We'll just throw it all in one. So they had a match much later in the show. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax came out. Nia Jax was standing at ringside watching. Bianca Belair comes out. And then as the match is about to start, Sasha Banks' music hits. So I was like, oh, okay. So Sasha's like making her presence known. She's going to, come out and be at ringside. It's going to be probably some sort of shenanigans in the story. She comes out, walks halfway down the ramp, and then just goes, no. And then just walks back again. And I was like, why did you even come out in the first place? Because it's not like it was expected that you would come out with Bianca and then you left and you go, it's not like if Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler had come out independently and Nia then just left halfway through her entrance and be like, oh, that's weird. Like Nia's abandoning her, because you expect Nia to be at ringside for Shayna's matches because they're the tag team champions. Bianca Belair wasn't at ringside for Sasha's match until like halfway through when she made her entrance for reasons when it went to the ad break. Whereas Sasha came out at the start and then said, now I'm going to go. Why'd you even come out in the first place then, Sasha? What you doing?
Because thankfully, it's not like they've been telling the Sasha and Bianca are best friends. They haven't been telling that story for once. So yeah, it's more effective if you just don't have her there.
Yes.
Because then it's like
100%.
Bianca came out to sort of be in Sasha's corner, but Sasha is just basically saving her own skin. She doesn't have to be that doesn't mean she's a heel. It just means she's smart.
Yeah.
But coming out and leaving is just, well, that's 10 seconds of the match that we've lost.
Yeah. And then the match didn't go very long, a little bit back and forth. And then Nia just goes, I've had enough. And then Nia just leaves, which makes more sense because Shayna kicked her earlier and she wants to leave. I don't really know what the impetus was for her to leave, but she decided now's about good. And she left. Fine. But then immediately after she leaves, Natalya and Tamina come in the ring, cause a DQ, and beat up both Shayna and Bianca. And then they're left standing tall. Tamina did a much better slam than she did a couple weeks ago, which was a very soft one.
She did.
She did a much better slam this week, and it was good.
We understand. We know that. We know producers tell them what to do. But in terms of the story, it doesn't make sense. We are aware of how wrestling works.
Yeah. We're not criticizing the wrestlers, the characters, the people playing the wrestlers. We're not criticizing them. Obviously, they've been told to do this. We're questioning WWE's booking because it doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
But yeah, so then you had the double DQ, Natalya and Tamina beating them up to, I guess, cement themselves in the women's tag title picture, which for some reason Sasha and Bianca are still a part of. I don't know why. And then they stood tall.
Yeah,
cool,
because they're best
friends.
I guess. Because they need to have all of the women in the same feud. What I assume is that whoever wins on Sunday will be up against them next, and that's it, basically.
Yep.
Maybe Bianca and Sasha win, and then
hate that
on night one they lose the
Mania
tag belts.
No,
and then on night two they have their singles match.
No, not a Mania.
God.
I can see it. If they're going to lose the tag titles, do it on SmackDown. Do it like a couple weeks.
See, that's what I was thinking as well,
Mania.
but it's because they've got 2 nights.
Or that sucks.
No, wait, they've got NXT tag belts now. Okay,
yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
No. Yeah, this was weird because it didn't add anything to the Sasha Bianca feud, which should be your main feud. That's the storytelling.
Yeah.
You want to include Shayna and Nia for Fastlane, sure, whatever. Don't include Natalya and Tamina. It gets way too convoluted.
All of the men's title feuds show that you don't need tag teams involved in singles feuds, but they don't seem to be able to do the same thing with the women. And
the thing is,
it's consistently like this.
It's because they found success with the whole Bayley and Banks and Asuka feud from last year, and they thought, "Oh, that's really good.
Let's do that again endlessly."
Yeah. So they just keep doing that time and time again. This wasn't terrible. This was fine. This was it didn't make me more excited for Fastlane. It didn't make me less excited for Fastlane. It was there. It didn't add anything and just took up a bit of time on SmackDown, really. It's fine. But yeah. Anyway, other stuff that happened on the show. We got Seth Rollins came out, cut what I thought was a great promo. Him coming out, being able to switch up his style. I think he's gotten even better at promos since he's come back. Him being able to just completely yuck it up as a really annoying heel, and just be the worst. Yeah, proper annoying heel laughter. Be like cutting terrible jokes and then laughing at his own jokes and stuff. Like, it's proper annoying heel stuff. I really enjoyed it. And then he just takes a deep breath and just switches and goes super dead serious, staring down the hard camera, speaking to Cesaro. I was like, man, this is really good. Him just saying that, Cesaro humiliated me. Cesaro is the biggest waste of potential in WWE history. Shinsuke Nakamura comes out to defend him. And I said this in my edited review as well. This is the most Shinsuke has looked in ages. This felt like Shinsuke Nakamura was here on the main roster. Finally, after how many years? This felt like the most Shinsuke's been since NXT. Because he came out super doing his weird charisma thing that he does. Proper swaggy, comes out into the ring and all of that stuff, and just kind of comes around and is being all weird and just takes the microphone out of Rollins' hand, just tells him to shut up in just 2 words, which is great. Yeah. They get into a little brawl. It's proper super weird. Come on, Shinsuke. Seth gets back into the ring. He hits a Kinshasa on him. It's great. This is how you book Shinsuke. This is what you do. This is what Shinsuke does.
So we're getting this match tomorrow night on
Fastlane. Yes.
Fastlane. And like, I mean, Seth's winning, but
absolutely,
like
as he should.
But this, like, I'm already more excited about this match than I am about most of the other matches. Like from 5 minutes build, because it's Seth Rollins and because it's Shinsuke Nakamura, and they haven't made it either. They've made both of them look cool and great. And I don't like. I forget that Shinsuke's just been the least favorite in tag teams for the last 2 years. Yeah, and now he feels like a genuine threat again. Like I know, like he's going to lose because it's going to be Rollins against Cesaro at Mania, and I haven't booked it yet, but it will be. So yeah, just give me this match and I will eat it.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow, and it seems to indicate, because I was worried they were going to do Cesaro Rollins at Fastlane, but because they're doing Rollins Nakamura at Fastlane, probably that means we're going to get Rollins Cesaro at Mania, which also gives me hope that Cesaro's going to win at Mania, because I think Seth beating Nakamura tomorrow is his big, like, he's back from injury. He's back from his hiatus from Survivor Series because he had his kid, comes back, gets his win back. He's still a really good wrestler. Doesn't lose his first match back. And then he goes on against the bigger challenge of Cesaro, and he comes up short. That would be the ideal.
I come up short?
Great. Anyway, really solid stuff, I thought. After that was the Mysterios versus the Street Profits. Fun little match, this one. Obviously, they're very good wrestlers. Ended with a shock roll-up victory for the Mysterios, which was cool.
Angelo Dawkins certainly thought it was a shock.
Proper meme-worthy reaction for that, which was great. It was solid. It was good stuff. And then after that, the Alpha Academy came up. The Dirty Dogs, by the way, were on commentary as SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Alpha Academy came out and was just like, don't think that this means you get a tag title opportunity ahead of us because we're great. They managed to rile up the Mysterios enough so that they get into a match. Really cool dive from Dominic Mysterio just before the match started, before it went into an ad break. Massive like springboard dive, got loads of height on it. It was really cool. And then, Dominic looked really good as well. It looked really good against Street Profits. Looked really good in this match against Alpha Academy. Again, really fun match, and it was a decisive win for Alpha Academy in the end, which makes sense. You know, Mysterios have got the out of being like, well, that's the second match in the night for them, so they don't look too weak in defeat. Chaos Theory German from Gable going into a second rope splash from Otis, which looked huge, by the way. He got height and distance on that splash, was cool. And they get the pinfall victory. I quite like what they're doing with the tag division now, because it's felt so pointless for ages. SmackDown tag team titles mean basically nothing at this point. But this felt like this wasn't star-making performances or anything, but this felt like a step in the right direction of taking the tag division seriously, putting on really good matches, because that's what tag team wrestling does, and making all four of the teams involved feel like legitimate contenders to the title. And it felt like a more fleshed out division, even though these are the only four teams in the division. It did make them all feel relevant in it.
Yeah, nice. It feels like an actual group of teams now rather than the same ones. And like the other thing I took from this is that Dominic is getting so kind of good now. Like every week that goes by, you think, okay, we're getting closer to them sort of deciding that he's good enough to be a singles competitor and to turn on his dad, which I'm assuming is the way they'll go. But yeah, it's nice to see four teams and they're all kind of being taken seriously. Because there's no teams in here you think, oh, they're dumb, they're stupid, they're not ones like. I get that Gable and Otis are a bit goofy, but actually they won the match. I get that the Street Profits are a bit goofy, and I know they lost the first match, but it's not like I'm going, oh, classic dorks, stupid Street Profits. So I think we're getting a 4-way at Mania. I think that's the easiest way to play this, and it would be a great match. So
almost certainly, yeah. I'm looking forward to it if that's the way they go. We had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens backstage. Sami Zayn asking once again Kevin Owens to join in on the documentary, and KO was just like, I'm still mulling it over. Also, have you considered that this all is a bit nuts about the whole conspiracy thing? Maybe you shouldn't be doing it. Just throwing it out there. Sami Zayn invited Kevin to watch from ringside on his match later, and just said, if you don't see anything suspicious about the match at all, I will drop the whole conspiracy stuff. And he said, yeah, sure, no problem, I can do that. So then later on we had the match, and they had a video package to hype this match, which came out of absolutely nowhere. This just completely blindsided me when I was watching this show, because they said, long built match, blood feud coming up next.
Yeah.
Started playing this video package, and they anti-hyped the match on purpose. They deliberately called it the least anticipated match in SmackDown history. The irritating force meets the unlikable object. And unfortunately, there must be a winner, but thankfully, there will be a loser. And they just kind of buried both of them in the process, which in kayfabe makes sense. They're both inherently very unliked by basically everyone backstage. So I was a bit hesitant originally about them being like, I don't know if they should be burying both Corbin and Zayn, calling them both terrible and that no one likes them. But then I thought about it and I was like, actually, that does make sense in kayfabe. But it was very funny and completely caught me off guard.
Do you think there's any chance that Sami Zayn puts together to further his madness, and they'll tell the story that he's done this to be like, I don't know, to kind of so that he's got more ammunition? Or do you think that's stupid?
I think that's stupid. I think they just deliberately did this because they're like, oh my God, fine, we'll give you a match. Corbin versus Zayn. Fine, Jesus. But we'll give you a video package.
That definitely works better. And it was just, like you said, I was sitting there and I went, wait, what?
Yeah.
This isn't what I wasn't expecting this at all.
Yeah.
Comedy from WWE that made me laugh.
Good comedy that made you laugh in WWE? God, what is this? It was crazy. It was really well done. Genuinely. Really, really well done. Would recommend people watching it. It was very funny. So Owens was on commentary for the match. Match didn't go very long. Zayn tried to do an illegal pin. And referee spotted him and just said, no, you don't get to win with that. And then Corbin hit the end of days, picked up the victory. Zayn was beside himself after the match, just being like, Owens, my buddy. I mean, you saw that, right? This whole conspiracy thing. And Kevin was like, I mean, I saw the ref doing their job and they did a good one because you tried an illegal pin. And he was like, I can't believe you. I can't believe that you didn't see all this conspiracy stuff. Starts walking away. This was really well shot, I thought, because he turns away, starts walking away. You see Zayn walking away. They cut to another shot where you can just see Owens. He kind of turns back around to the rest of the commentary team, just being like, oh, thank you guys for coming out. And from out of the side of the shot, you just see Sami Zayn's boot just bang straight across Owens' face in a brutal looking haluva kick, because they showed it again in slow-mo and he just kicked him in the head.
Can you imagine being kicked like on the headphone as well? Like, I know, this is soft.
Oof, it's rough.
I am so pleased that they are. I mean, if they're just going to have a feud, I'm so pleased that they're not rerunning. I'm so pleased that Owens didn't I'll be your friend again, and then one of them turned, because we've seen that so many times, and it's really refreshing. Like, I know we've seen these guys feud a lot. That's not an issue because they're great, and it's nice that it's just started off hostile rather than, oh no, we're friends again. Yeah. Oh no, now we're not.
Yeah, it wasn't so much that they were friends, it's just that they have a lot of history, and that was all they were playing off, which was nice. But yeah, that haluva kick was brutal. Really liked how that looked, and I'm hoping this is going to lead into a nice feud for WrestleMania. It's probably going to be a great match because it's Owens versus Zayn. I just hope they give him a good story to go into it, and it builds properly. Fingers crossed anyway, but I'm very excited if that's the direction they're going. We then got a sit-down interview with Big E and Apollo Crews, like across a split-screen promo, so to speak. And I thought this was great because I thought they both cut very good promos. I thought that Apollo had really good presence when he was sitting there, and he was just listening to Big E, and he was just sitting there taking it all in. I thought he looked really cool, like such a badass, just sitting there. Really, really good stuff. Big E's promo I thought was fantastic. His anger just coming through in every word that he said. Apollo cut a really good promo just saying he was going to stand over his mangled body at Fastlane. And then the bit that really sealed it for me was Big E just being like, we don't have to wait for Fastlane. Just kind of unclipped his mic, just got up and just started storming around the backstage area trying to find Apollo. And what I really liked as well was that Apollo was like, okay. And then just like unclipped his mic and was like, yeah, let's fight. Instead of him being like, oh no, I'm going to wait till Sunday, and being like a cowardly heel who was like, no, let's fight, let's go. And then they just had a quick brawl backstage. Biggie got the upper hand and Apollo got away in a golf cart. I thought this was great. Really good stuff. I'm so into this feud.
It's amazing how much you can just change someone's entire presence and like the way they are. What's the word?
Perceived,
and the way they're presented, just by having him stopping doing I'm Apollo to I'm Apollo, and it's like I'm the guy like just sitting in that chair like, oh yeah,
you're what a badass, hard. Right? God,
yeah, and I like the fact that it wasn't just oh damn it, I don't like you. Like they were like, do you know what? Screw this interview. Why are we even doing this? I'm going to find you. And it was so cool.
Yeah.
And like you said, he didn't back down. He wasn't like, oh no, you'll never find me. You'll never find me. It's not like he was behind Aleister Black's door.
Yeah.
Just this match is going to be so good. It's going to be so physical. And it's two people that should have rockets strapped up their bums. Just maybe not up their bums, strapped to their backs,
weird.
Because they are so good. If you said this last year, Apollo Crews is going to be one of the best things on SmackDown. Like, is he?
Yeah.
I probably mean SmackDown's not going to be very good, but no, this is great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thought this was really, really good stuff. And again, made me super excited for their match. I genuinely think they could steal the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Easily. Even though you've got stuff like Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus in a no holds barred match, I still think Big E Apollo could do it.
That and Seth Rollins against Shinsuke Nakamura, if they let Shinsuke wrestle properly.
I don't think that's going to be the show stealer. I think they're going to put Rollins over too much. I don't think that's going to be like the 20-minute epic clash that Big E Apollo could be if the way they've been telling the story. So overall, then, we had some other stuff going into the main event, obviously, that we've already covered. Overall, I thought this was a really effective go-home show. I left the show. I was more excited for Reigns versus Bryan, more excited for Big E versus Apollo, excited for Rollins versus Nakamura. The women's stuff, I was the same amount of excitement I had before, which was not very much, but didn't do anything to elevate it, but didn't do anything to damage it either. It was just kind of still there. I enjoyed what they did with the tag division and how they're kind of fleshing that out and potentially leading to a 4-way at Mania. It was a good show. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I think 4 out of 5 is good. I like it. A lot of time I'm sort of excited to watch a show, but now I'm actually interested to watch a show, which is a different emotion for me heading into a wrestling show, because I'm like, how is this going to play out? Because it's exactly. Not like it's unusual for me. Like, no, well, this is obviously what they do for WrestleMania. All of this is obvious. So to the fact that we're 3 weeks out and it's not all completely set in stone is refreshing. So 4 out of 5.
Yes, 4 out of 5. People disagreed with us on the community tab poll. 51% of people voted for 3 out of 5, with 26% going one higher at 4 out of 5. I think that's a bit harsh, because I thought this was a very good show.
Because they want. A lot of people don't want a triple threat. A lot of people want the singles match, and the fact that they're teasing that, I don't think people like. A lot of people. I've seen a lot of people who just want Reigns against Bryan again, or people who want Reigns against Edge. So,
it could also be that everyone just votes for 3 out of 5 every week, regardless of what happens.
Yes, quite possibly.
Yes. Anyway, let's get into the. Before we do the rest of your Ultra Chats, we have to say thank you to some very special people, and those are our $25 and above pledge hammers on Patreon. If you've not been to WrestleTalk's Patreon page yet, you should. WrestleTalk Extra has gone live yesterday, which was Luke and Ollie reviewing WrestleMania 19, available for our $5 and above backers. It's a fun show. Check it out. Check it out. Hate that. Get rid of that message. Thank you, Andy. But yes, and also if you pledge at the $25 tier or above, you get your own custom wrestling nickname, and it gets read on a show much like this one. So thank you to the man with the scoops, Sean. Woo! Thank you very much.
Yeah. The Knight Rider, Kit.
Woo! Thank you very much. The King, Juan Reyna. Thank you very much.
The easiest name to pronounce, Josh.
Nope.
Rashotazowskis.
Thank you very much. There it is. Thank you very much. Amazing. Dr. Sophia Bonilla, DWO-EVP. Thank you very much.
He's a big Ben Green in the ring.
He most certainly is. Thank you very much. Colin McLeaner than Finn Balor. Woo! Thank you very much.
He is the real Shorty G, Aaron.
Woo! Thank you very much. I'm Batty Man. Nathan Batty. Woo!
It was like he was in the room. And Jordan, don't you dare call me Mountain Dew.
That's no R's in that at all. But thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. Ringside News is apparently reporting that Daniel Bryan's going in the Hall of Fame. Okay.
I mean, Ringside, we've slated Ringside News in the
lately.
past. They've been pretty good lately. That's
have been
weird.
very good lately. That would be super strange if that's the case. I don't know how to feel about that one.
I'm telling Louis just in case he hasn't seen.
Anyway, let's get into the rest of your Ultra chats here. Chris Blast says, hello, guys. Do you think that Big E and Apollo should be the second to last main event? I feel like the build-up has been great. Also, no Reginald. Thank you, SmackDown. Also, Roman lied about never tapping out. Backlash 2018. Did he? I forget what match that was. What was Backlash 2018? Who was that against? Backlash 2018. God, what is my memory? This is why we don't win Quizlemanias. Was it Joe?
Was it that terrible match?
Was it the terrible main event?
Oh.
But he didn't win that. Reigns won that, right? I'm confused. Anyway.
So apparently what's happened is that...
It's leaked on the WWE Network.
Yes. I just about to say that.
Yep. I read it in the chat. They did it live with R-Truth as well.
Louis reckons it's a mistake.
Yep, sounds about right.
There you go.
Matthew Robinson comes in to say, love the emotion on the Big E and Apollo feud. Also, did you guys like seeing the behind the scenes of the Thunderdome at the Tropicana Stadium of the baseball field? Sure. I have -1 emotions regarding baseball, so yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. Like I like behind the scenes stuff. The fact that it's a baseball field doesn't add to my excitement.
No. Also, we already saw the backstage bit from Reigns versus Owens at Chamber, because they went back there with the whole golf cart running him over and stuff. So we kind of already saw that little bit of the area. Jake Farrow said, the only thing ruining this Apollo Crews character to me is his newfound Nigerian accent. Did they not learn anything from Kofi being Jamaican? Can't wait for someone to call back to it in a year or so after it's dropped to make Apollo look dumb AF. I disagree.
But Apollo is Nigerian. Kofi is not from Jamaica. That was the issue with Kofi. Kofi's from Ghana. That's why it was weird that they gave him an accent.
And also there's he has explained why he now has an accent. So it does make sense. Even if you don't like the story, there is a story. So yeah. I wouldn't compare the two personally. Izza Smith said, see what has happened. Here is AEW play the Uno reverse card on WWE with their women's division. Yeah. It's in the week that AEW have put on an amazing 5-star main event of Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in the lights out match. And now there wasn't any Reginald. So, that's a plus for the women's division. But yeah, sure. We also got one from LuchaBot here. It says, "Hey guys, good to see your podcast is now live. I haven't listened to a WrestleTalk podcast since I told Ollie and Luke that they're marks for hating The Miz, and they decided to just not read out that part of the hyper chat. I think we should call them the Wrestle Marks."
Yeah, I love The Miz. He was a great WWE champion. What a run.
I liked The Miz.
Hey,
when he was WWE champion the first time, I quite liked that run. And I think he's a fantastic mid-card heel. That's my opinion of him. He's not a main eventer. Not even a little bit. Anyway, I believe that is all the Ultra Chats for today. So that's it. Thank you very much for coming out, everyone. Really do appreciate your watching. If you're watching on catch-up, press the videos that just appeared on the screen to catch up with more awesome WrestleTalk stuff. Stay tuned for Fastlane live reactions tomorrow on this very channel, where I will be challenging for the Jam That Championship as a replacement for Mr. Davis, because he is not medically cleared following the explosion that we still don't know who did it. Following the explosion and the predictions, he's not medically cleared. So I will be representing the authority and challenging for the Jam That Championship in his place tomorrow.
Chopper, if you win,
yep,
it's me
then
against
I'll be
you,
the
man.
Jam That Champion.
No, it's me against you for first night of WrestleMania.
It would be, wouldn't it? Oh, that's exciting. The SmackDown team going at it. Grrr.
Someone screenshot that.
Yeah. Anyway, now the videos will have appeared on the screen to catch up with more awesome WrestleTalk stuff, and the button in the middle that make you become a pledge hammer on Patreon. Don't forget to do your Wrestle League predictions if you are a pledge hammer, because with those are up, and there's more matches from SmackDown. So update your picks for Wrestle League for Fastlane. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I've been Corporate Chopper. I've been joined by Randy Andy Datson, and that was SmackDown.
Ooh.